Welcome to Center Circle, and I am Jermaine Brown. Robert Finzi Smith is known for playing several roles, but those in sports, and more so football, will remember him as the security for the Reggae Boys, stretching back to the 1998 World Cup qualifying campaign. This week, the man who is also known as Bobby tells us how he got started in the sport.
I got involved with football watching my father play. My father, God rest his soul, was the longest standing captain of Jamaica ever, Dudley Smith. He is in the Hall of Fame. The two positions he never played for Jamaica, goal and centre forward. Dad was to Penna what Carl Brown was to Samois at one stage. Dad captained Melbourne, which was like the big club at the time. And I watched him administrate football and used to coach Jamaica Defence Force, a regiment team. So what I learned about football was that literally at my father's knee.
Were you a player? Did you play the sport any at all?
I played at KC, and not the Manning Cup, because some people mistake it. They had a Robert Smith in my time playing with the Manning Cup team, but that wasn't me. I did track. But when I joined the army and went to Canada, I played on the base team and scored a fair amount of goals.
So how did you get involved with Reggae Boys though, even though it was at the security level?
Captain Burrell was part of my training officer regime before I went abroad. And I wouldn't have made it through the stringent Canadian course if it hadn't been for Burrell. He had been through the course before, so he helped guide us as to what to expect and what not to. So my respect for him at that point in time, of course, leaps and bounds. I sat down and watched what was going on with the program when he said we could go to France. And I watched Jamaicans do a typical Jamaican situation. I said, what am I chat about? And I don't know if you remember the shellacking we got. I think it was Mexico or so. Everybody said, hey, it's done. See that? I put together a scrapbook presentation and asked the captain if I could speak to the team. He spoke to them in Samois, and Samois said, okay, come to training. They were training up by Water Commission Field. And after they trained, I did the presentation to show that we as Jamaica had been in that type of situation in various competitions before and had prevailed. And Samois seemed to have felt that what I did was impactful on team. And he said to Captain, who is this guy? And Captain said, well, does security and thing. And he says, he used to travel with the team. So I traveled with the team. And essentially, last person off the plane, first person with them at customs and all of that, and the last person to get on it, the last person to come off of it. Checking the rooms, making sure that they didn't have stuff them. Some people tell me I should write a book. They might even give me a title from behind the bench, because I've seen a lot. And I was assigned to the disciplinary committee, and during that time, whoever was the head of the security committee he was a police officer, and he had some situations. And Captain came to me, he didn't ask me. He just said, effective Monday morning, 0800 hours, you're the head of the security committee. Okay, I've been there ever since. I was appointed to the board as a non-voting member. And I believe there are some people there who to this day still believe I was put there as captain's eyes and ears. I think I got into trouble once when they were chatting behind his back at a particular away match in the States. We were in the cafeteria area. And I suppose like you, which is why even when I'm doing security and we're running to each other, I understand, because we have a bad habit. We just can't talk the truth. You either like it or you don't like it. So I got up and I said, it is my duty to inform all present that if you say anything bad about Horace Burrell and I hear, within 5 seconds, count it down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to call him and tell him what was said and who said it. Don't say I never warn you. And I sat down back and ate my food. And certain people who shall remain nameless made the decision at that point in time that Bobby mustn't travel with the team anymore. And they juggled it until when Captain made his exit, I anticipated the fallout, but so be it. But there are little things that I will remember, like Walter Boyd. Walter Boyd followed the team by his own money to a match we were playing in the States before we went to France. I don't think our squad had been fully, announced at the time. And I took him one side and said, Walter, what happened? He want to talk to the coach. Sorry. So I cordoned off a section of the restaurant in the hotel and tell him sit down in that corner. And I went to Rennie and said, Walter want to talk to you. And who said, Rennie, you're a fair man. And you said Jesus saves and things, some Christian compassion. Never let it be said you didn't listen. So it's okay. And he went over there and I kept all so-called photographers and things away. Them did the whole cell phone thing wasn't perfect. And he sat there for about half an hour with him. And people are look for can't hear, but look. The sum total of that is when we're on the plane coming back. Someone is sending around paper. Yes or no for the inclusion of Walter Boyd. There's some people that I will always watch out of the side of my eye based on their intended response to that question. And it's people again who shall remain nameless, stand up and say, he started with us, he helped put us here as much as it is. And that is how you got it had to be unanimous. 2 paper. I had no on it and I had to scratch out and mark, yes. And I know who the 2 papers were. We got to France. I forget which match we were training for. It might have been the Argentina match. And Walter he always had these little twinges. And when they're stretching, Montessoro tell him, down. Walter said, I don't want to tear something like that. And Montessoro kick with him foot. Could have injured him badly because he been partially interested in him. Boom, kick with the foot. And Walter jump up and rush him. Everybody saw it was like football. Nobody saw the foul until the retaliation. And of course Montessoro was happy like a pig in you know what. Go there, you're done. And by this time now Rennie has arrived with Captain. I think they were coming from the technical meeting. And what's happening? You tried to thump me. So me sit down there. And I said, Skipper. Bobby, not. I said, Skipper. What? Montessoro kicked him. What? I said, Montessoro kicked him. Somebody tell, as I was watching a security Medusa, Montessoro kick him. You sure? I said, Rennie, tell the coach. So, Montessoro kick him. Are you sure? Sure as you're standing here, he kicked him. And him sent me down in a tunnel. I said, tell Walter to come. I said, the coach wants to see you. Tears are running on Walter's face. And Walter come back up and he says to Walter, I heard something, but I want to hear from you. What happened? Well, coach wants to say, my stretch and my try ease and he kicked on foot and nearly. Oh, say he kicked you. Yes, he said, don't move. And he called Montessoro. And him say, apologize to the player. But apologize to the player. And him apologized to the, but him face a look on me like, if looks could kill, I wouldn't be sitting here now. And long story short, thing is back in. But there are other things that happened there that involve Montessoro that I won't elaborate on.
When we return, Finzi Smith speaks about the current JFF.